Okay, we are going to start animating just a little bit. So I need to show you a few things about animation. And we can animate our ball bounce. So we created one, a 2D ball bounce. We're going to do it 3D. A little bit differently, a little more simple in 3D, but we are going to start animating. So the first thing, we're going to do a ball bounce. So let's get a ball. So let's delete our cube here. And come up to Add, Mesh, Sphere, and there's our ball. So we've already created a ball. We haven't created it, but it's already there, so that's pretty easy. Now we're just going to animate it a little bit so it bounces. And we're just going to go, for this first one, we'll just make it bounce up and down. We'll do a side-to-side bounce next. So just do it up and down. First, I can get rid of these, camera and the light. If I come up to this panel here, and I click the eyeballs here to get rid of camera, it will still be there, but if I click the eyeball, it doesn't show it in the view, and so that just kind of gets that distraction out of the way, gets it out of the way a little bit. So let's come around, pan over here to where the green is right in front of you, because that is the front view. If I hit 1, that's where the green y-axis we want it to be right in front of us, and you'll find out why later. So put it there. Let's move our ball up a little ways off the grid, and let's create let's put a kind of a stage, a floor and a wall to have our ball bounce on. So let's go to Add Mesh, and I want a plane, so just the first one on there, plane. Now it's really small. I want to make it about the size of the grid, so it looks like a floor. I'll hit S to scale it, S, and drag it out. If I can't go all the way, come back in, S, and drag it out. Okay, about the size of the grid. I can bring it up above the grid just a little bit so the grid's not messing with it. Now I want a wall, a back wall as well. Well, actually, we're not going to have a reference photo here, so let's not worry about the wall for this animation. So we have a floor, and we've got our ball. Now the ball is off the floor, so bring it off the floor a little bit, and we're just going to have it bounce up and down. So this would be our first frame here, and these are our frames right down here. So by default it gives us 250 frames. That's the end frame. We're not going to use that many, so we'll change that number eventually. But it starts on frame 1, of course, and here they are here. I can click and drag, and that's kind of, call it scrubbing through. If I had, as soon as I put keyframes and move my ball around and put keyframes, I'll scrub through, and it will show me, kind of like in PowerPoint when you do the scroll wheel, you can see where your ball is and where it's going and where it came from. Okay, we'll do that. So make sure it's on frame 1, and right up here there's a reference, frame 1 there. I don't know if it started on 0. Let's start on frame 1. In frame 1, to set a keyframe, you will hit I on your keyboard. I, and it gives you this menu, and we can set a keyframe for location, the rotation, the scaling, or location and rotation, or location and scale, or all three, location, rotation, and scale at the same time. And we're mostly going to use that for now. We'll mess with the individual ones later, but we're going to set all of the location of the ball, the rotation of it, and the scale on every keyframe. So it's every time we move it a little bit, we need to set a keyframe to tell it where to be on that frame. So we're on frame 0. I moved the ball up in the air. I hit I on the keyboard, and I'm going to select location, rotation, scale. And it turns orange right here and gives me a keyframe right there. It's yellow on the frame editor. Now before I move it, I need to move the frames, because if I move it and then get it in the position that I want it and then move the frames, it's going to go back to that keyframe. So that keyframe affects all the frames in the back of it, behind it. Okay, and so move first, move to the keyframe that you want, and at the bottom of the bounce, kind of like we did on our reference image, a good amount is about 7 frames. So let's go 7 frames, 2 frame 7, so it lists it right here. It says right there and right up here, frame 7, and then I'm going to take it down to the ground. I could go right through the ground, but I'll take it down a little ways in there. We need to squash it, so I'll just stick it so it's a little bit in. We can move it. We'll adjust it a little bit later. Then when I've got that, I hit I again and select location, rotation, scale. and I've got a second keyframe. Now it puts in between frames in between those two keyframes. So I've got two keyframes, one at the top, one at the bottom, and the computer does the in-between frames, and I've got a dropping ball. I could even play it right here, and it drops down to the ground, and then it just stops. So we need to bounce back up. So the next location is at 12 frames, and this doesn't have to be exact, but it's a good, these frames are good because it looks like a real bouncing ball. It's got the right speed. So go to frame 12, and then come back up, not quite as high as you had it on the last one. And if you want to check, you could look at the position right there. You could even come to this menu right here, click the plus, and you can see your Z axis. You're at 6.69, so I'm going to go lower than that. And I could maybe come right here, 5.3, and then when I move the frame to frame 12, I'll go back up to 5.3 or somewhere right around there. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay. So I've got that to look at as well. Now I'm going to set another keyframe here at the top of the bounce. It doesn't go as high as the other one, so that's why we're there. And then I will go to the next bounce is about 17 frames hitting the floor. So I'll move to 17 frames, come back down, and set my keyframe. And I'll continue to do that. Go up to about 21. That's the top of the next bounce. And set my keyframe, go to 25, go back down, set my keyframe, 28 at the top, set, and then move to 31, and that will be our ending position, back down on the floor, and set keyframe. Okay, now I've got all my keyframes, and it's given me the in-between frames as well. So if I play it, there's my ball bounce. Now I'm not done because I need to use the squash and stretch. So now you know how to scale the ball, and you know when to do it, or you should. You can do that. So when you for example, in this position, well, let's go to squash first. In this position, I'll get my scale tool, and I will just squash it like that. I can look at the top view by hitting 7, and it's still round. That's good. I can go to my bottom view or more front view, 1, and it is squashed. Now, when I squash it, it doesn't get any bigger, any wider, and I need to do that. If I'm going to be squashing the ball, it needs to come out wider. Now, if I did this red right here, it looks like it's getting wider, but then I go to the top view, and it only did, it brought it out of proportion. So I need to go back, let's see, Control Z. So it's squashed, but I need it to come out, and I need it to come out on both the X-axis and the Y-axis. So if I hold down Shift and hit the blue, use the blue axis tool, then it will do everything opposite of it if I hold down Shift. So I'll hold down Shift, click the blue one, and expand it in all directions besides the blue. So there's my squash right there. And then I can set that keyframe again. It will set it over what I had before. That's what I want. So then it comes down, and it's squashing as it goes down, so we don't want that. I need to change it. I should have done that before I squashed it, actually. So I'm going to go one keyframe behind the squash because I want it to squash all at once. And I'm going to bring this back out to the regular position, which right here is the scale. I want to bring it back to, I believe it's 2. And that will be the regular size of the ball. And I might need to move that up a bit. So, location, rotation, scale, set the keyframe. In fact, yeah, I'm going to need to move that up off the floor. So it's right before the floor. Set my keyframe. Now when I come down, it stays. Oh, no, it looks like it was size 1. Okay, it grew as it came down. I'm going to bring this down to size 1. No, it's not 1 either. I guess I should check. Up at the top, no, it is 1. Oh, I didn't set it. Rookie mistake. I didn't set the keyframe after I changed it. So it is size 1, but then I need to set the keyframe, otherwise it's going to go back. Okay, there we go. Now it's dropping and it squashes right there on that one keyframe. And now I need to set the next keyframe and do the same thing. So I need to go back to a size 1 on all of these. And it's back. And then I set that keyframe right there. So it squashes on one frame and comes back out of it on the next. Okay. So now when I go to the frame that if I go to frame 6, I need to move it up a little bit, and that's where I'm going to stretch it. So I'll get my tool again here, and I'll stretch it with the blue, just like that. And I'll set the keyframe. That resets it, because I already had one at 6, but it resets it. Okay, so now it's doing the same. So it's stretching as it goes down. I just want it to stretch, well, that might be okay. We'll see. I probably don't want it to stretch that much, but yeah, the stretch is probably okay. The squash, it needs to just squash on that one frame and then pop back up. So I want you to play around with it a little bit, and that's the basics of it. On one frame it squashes like that, and the other one is stretched. I probably stretched that a little bit too far, but I can go back and change it, and you can adjust it how it looks good. But each time it's on the floor, you need to make it squash and then stretch before and after the bounce, right before and right after. And that's the basics of the ball bounce and the squash and stretch. I want you to finish this one off, and I'll come around and help if you need it.